Hi, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you here again. So I'm going to try to figure out exactly what's going on here with this non-conference schedule. So the way that this works, and the reason why we have this, is because in real life, in American college football, as in American football, teams play schedules that are a combination of games within their conference and outside of their conference. I don't profess to be like a historian of college football, although I will note that if you go back to the old days of college football, you'll see a lot of teams that were in no conference at all. And one of the ways that you made a schedule that people actually would want to watch and would be interested in back in those days was to include a lot of teams outside of your conference, because it's the only way you could play teams like Notre Dame, Penn State, and a number of other teams that became very, very famous in the early days of college football. So that's kind of the background behind the thinking behind out-of-conference play. Now, in college football in the United States, there's no real restrictions. So you can play teams that are around your level. You can play teams at a level far, far below, or you can try to play some of the best teams in the country. Of course, your chances of winning sort of depend upon which team you play against, and the sort of payday that you get will also sort of vary depending upon the team that you play against. It's sort of like you're playing friendlies, except they actually count in the standings, which is the thing about it that's so strange. And there's this like absolutely holy, like, tradition of doing this that goes back so many years that's kind of bizarre. I mean, the whole sport of American football, the college level in the United States, is very, very strange because you get a lot of teams who play different numbers of games against widely different types of competition, and then we worry a lot about who's number one and who's number two and so on, based mostly upon the opinion of sports writers. And that's still the case today, even though we have the supposedly scientific, whatever they use today to decide the college football playoff rankings. A lot of it still is based on reputation and kind of what feels right, so take that for what it is. So for whatever reason, the person who created this database has decided that the right way to do it is to engage in this non-conference schedule. And so in this non-conference schedule, when we go here and we look at the standings, assuming that this doesn't just crash out on me, we see that there are 80 different teams listed. Not all of them have played a game yet. I'm assuming there are actually more than 80 teams here. And it shows the Division 1A and 1AA teams. So you have a wide variety of different teams that are here, all of which are playing games against each other, right? I'm not sure if we can find anything more out about this. I'm a little bit hesitant to start clicking around because I've seen in other parts of this where like clicking around on the wrong thing will just make the game forcibly exit. There's no rhyme or reason here to how the out-of-conference schedule is designed, right? So we just played Florida Atlantic. Where's Florida Atlantic actually located? It's in Boca Raton in Florida. I don't know where that is. I'm assuming that it's on the Atlantic coast, which is a long way away from BYU, which is almost on the other side of the country. As in east to west, other side of the country. We will next play Maryland, which is a bit north, is kind of close to where I live now. We'll play against Kent State, which is, I believe, in California, and Arkansas State, which is in Arkansas, Alabama, Central Arkansas, so we have a lot down in the south. Penn State, which is over in Pennsylvania, obviously. And then Oregon State will be our first actual conference game, Mountain West within the Mountain West Conference. So it's kind of interesting how this works, right? These teams are from like all over the country. None of these teams has any sort of real history with BYU and anything really interesting to speak of, honestly. It's totally random. Alabama probably is the most reputable team in this league, if this is totally accurate, right? And in contrast to them, you have like like Central Arkansas, which is probably one of the least reputable teams in this entire database. So you can see that like this schedule like varies very, very widely. Now, does this actually count towards our standings here in the Mountain West Conference? It does not. Does it count towards some other sort of like weird secret standings or whatever in the game? I think maybe. I don't know. I mean, like I'm still trying to figure out exactly how this works. But that's one of sort of the interesting pieces here of this save. It's pretty creative. I have to give you credit for that. The concern that I have, though, I think more than anything else, is because of these like crazy tournaments that we've had to play, at the beginning of the season. We haven't had a home match yet. Our Maryland match is going to be the first home match that we've had. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, match number 5 of the season. We finally get to see what the home stadium is like, right? And that starts up there in September. Anyway, it gives you kind of an idea if you're really, really curious about like exactly how this sort of save works. That's sort of the way that it works. Now, of course, because there are 7 of these non-conference games, you can see that the home and away is not all even, right? So 3 of them will be home games for us, and 4 will be away games. I presume so. In the conference season, we play 3 times against all of the other teams in our conference. I presume that this means that we will have an extra home game in this conference schedule. But I mean, we're going to have to see sort of how that one shakes out. We have a total of 9 opponents that we play against. So only 10 teams in the conference, play against them 3 times for a total of 27 games. So it's 27 games plus the 7 games that you get out of this non-conference thing. That's honestly kind of weird. And then you also have 3 games out of the early season tournament, and it is 3 full games, right? Even if you lose, there are still consolation games and stuff, so you're still in some sort of competition, right? So what do we have? 27 plus 7 is 34, plus 3 more is 37, and that's before we've even gotten to the College Cup, and that's before we've gotten to I think that there's another tournament or 2 that we might be in, or that some teams might be in, some teams might not. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just so like odd, so strange, so different, and so full of different types of games and different types of things that are going on. I was looking here. Here we go. Competitions. Let's see what they have. Yes, they have the same list that we do in terms of competitions. Alabama, that is. If you look at the Southeastern Conference, they also have a 10-team conference. And I know for a fact, because I was reading about this in the help file, that there are all sorts of other weird things that happen here you don't see in association football at all. Things like bowl games, and there's another tournament that's like March Madness style, and there's another tournament that's like the College World Series type tournament, and there's are also, as part of the bowl games, there is sort of a tournament that would be the Bowl Championship Series type tournament. So we could be looking at a lot of matches here, like really a lot. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see. You and I will figure this out together. As I've said the whole time, right? Like, I mean, this is interesting. It's kind of fun. I am a little bit hesitant to be really, really like gung-ho about it. And as I said from the start, this is really sort of a hold me over type save until we kind of get to our next destination. But there's some stuff happening here that's pretty cool, that's different. So as I run across more of this stuff, I'll let you know, and we can look at this together and see what happens. It might be maybe somebody who watches this is interested in editor data files and stuff like that and thinks, oh, I could put something like this into a league. It might be interesting. Maybe something will happen. I don't know. All I know, though, is that if you really want to put in like an early season tournament, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not sure how positive or how excited I am to have done that. Right? It feels just so strange that we have a tournament that we've won, and I don't know the names of any of the players. Right? It feels odd for a Football Manager save. Anyway, and as I said before, my real advice for this type of thing is make it so we can do transfers. Right? It's more fun if you can, right? Youth development is fine, right? But if every team is doing youth development only, what's going to happen. The teams that have the best reputation and already have the best youth setups are going to get all of the good young players. The rest of us are left with the dregs, and nobody wants to come to us because the reputation's not there. I mean, that's what's going to happen to the save, right? If you really are trying to build something up, unless you have a cheater tactic like me, it's not going to work. Anyway, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.